There was a time when you couldn't imagine your life without them. The late-night conversations, the inside jokes, the shared dreams about the future. You thought you were growing together, moving forward side by side. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. The conversation started feeling smaller. The energy felt different, and you couldn't explain it. You just felt it. What happens when the people who once felt like home start to feel unfamiliar? At first, you ignored it. You told yourself you were overthinking. Maybe you were just stressed. Maybe they were just busy. You tried to reconnect the way you used to. You showed up. You texted first. You laughed at jokes that didn't feel funny anymore. But deep down, you knew something had changed. Not dramatically, quietly. How do you admit that the connection isn't what it used to be? Growth is subtle. It doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's just new boundaries, new priorities, new awareness. You start valuing peace more than chaos, depth more than drama, progress more than comfort. And the things you once tolerated start feeling heavy. The gossip, the negativity, the constant complaining without change. What if the discomfort you feel isn't disloyalty, but evolution? You notice it in small moments. A comment they make that doesn't sit right anymore. A mindset that feels limiting. A pattern you used to ignore, but now clearly see. You're not judging them. You're just different. Conversations that once energized you, now drain you. Situations you once accepted, now feel misaligned. When did you start craving something deeper than what they could offer? Outgrowing people doesn't mean you think you're better. That's the part that hurts the most. You don't feel superior. You feel conflicted. You remember who they were for you during hard times. You remember the loyalty, the laughter, the history. And history is powerful. It makes walking away feel like betrayal. How do you leave without feeling guilty for growing? Sometimes you try to shrink back, to make it work, to meet them where they are, even though you've already moved ahead. You silence your new opinions. You avoid talking about your goals. You dim your excitement so it doesn't make them uncomfortable. And for a while, it works. But afterward, you feel restless, restricted. How long can you shrink yourself before you start resenting the space you're in? You begin to see the gap more clearly. You're thinking about long-term growth. They're focused on short-term comfort. You're reflecting on patterns. They're repeating them. You're setting boundaries. They're testing them. And every time you honor your growth, the distance increases. Not because you forced it, but because alignment changed. Is it wrong to move forward when others choose to stay the same? The hardest part is accepting that not everyone is meant to grow with you. Some people are chapters, not the whole story. They were necessary at one stage of your life. They taught you lessons. They gave you memories. But chapters end, so new ones can begin. And endings don't always come with arguments. Sometimes they arrive quietly, through distance and reduced effort. What if the relationship didn't fail? It simply fulfilled its purpose. There may not have been a dramatic fight, no betrayal, no explosion, just a slow realization that you don't resonate the way you used to. And that kind of ending is confusing, because it doesn't give you something obvious to blame. It just leaves you with truth. You changed. Or maybe you became more of who you always were. What if growth reveals incompatibility that comfort once hid? You might notice they don't understand your new boundaries. They call you different, maybe even distant. And in some ways, they're right. You are different. You think differently, react differently, choose differently. But different doesn't mean wrong. It means evolved. And evolution isn't rejection, it's alignment. Since when did personal growth become something you have to apologize for? There's grief in outgrowing people. Real grief. You grieve the version of the connection that once felt effortless. You grieve who you were when things were simple. You grieve the comfort of familiarity. Even if the relationship no longer fits, it once did, and that mattered. Can you honor what was without forcing it to continue? You may question yourself late at night. Am I being selfish? Should I try harder? But growth sometimes requires distance. Not out of anger, not out of ego, but out of necessity. You can't keep returning to environments that stunt your expansion. You can't keep aligning with energy that pulls you backward. If staying means shrinking, is it really loyalty? The truth is, growth changes dynamics. When you start healing, you tolerate less dysfunction. When you gain clarity, confusion becomes uncomfortable. When you value peace, chaos becomes loud. And not everyone will understand that shift. Some people are comfortable where they are, and that's okay. But you don't have to stay there with them. Is comfort worth more than becoming who you're meant to be? Outgrowing people doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care differently. From a distance, with gratitude instead of attachment. You stop trying to force alignment. You stop explaining your evolution. You let actions create space where words once filled silence. And over time, the guilt softens because you realize something important. You didn't leave because you stopped loving them. You stepped forward because you started loving yourself, and self-respect changes everything. You begin attracting conversations that match your depth, environments that support your growth, energy that feels reciprocal instead of draining. And suddenly, you understand why the old connections felt heavy. They weren't bad. They were just misaligned. Not everyone is meant to walk the entire journey with you. Some people meet you at the beginning to prepare you for who you'll become later. Some stay longer, some leave sooner. But clinging to the past won't create your future. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to choose peace over familiarity. You are allowed to move forward without dragging your history behind you. Outgrowing people is not arrogance, it's awareness. And awareness is growth. So if you feel the distance forming, if you feel the conversations thinning, if you feel yourself craving spaces that challenge and expand you instead of keeping you comfortable, pause. Don't rush to guilt. Don't rush to shrink. Ask yourself one honest question. Are you abandoning them, or are you finally refusing to abandon yourself? Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't holding on. It's letting go. Gently, respectfully, and without apology. You outgrew them. Like, subscribe, and join our journey into timeless depth. Share your thoughts below.